2 pick sixes in like 2 minutes from Dalton.
No. My wife just yelled, "He gone," from the living room. Hello, world, and welcome back to Gridiron Gamble, the only podcast that puts its money where its mouth is. I'm your host, Rich Ryan, and I'm joined by 2 members of the collective, Donnie DP Peters and the resident moose himself, Mo Nuwwarah. The disciple is somewhere wandering around the streets of Las Vegas, probably enjoying spirits, probably enjoying something within the nightlife of Sin City. I actually believe
swimming in his wife's money.
I actually believe, I don't know if he wants us to say anything about that. I actually believe he's at Stadium Swim tonight, if I recall correctly, at Circa, where we are in at least Circa Sports Million. Now we are no longer in Survivor, but Brett enjoying his time. I do have his pick on my sounder here, so we will play it when the time comes. Salute to everybody listening live in Discord. You can do so by becoming a patron, patreon.com/Gridiron Gamble. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you as well. Don't forget to ring that bell, subscribe to the Lines US YouTube channel, hit like, comment below, tell us your favorite pick last week. We had a great prediction from one of our fans last week that both the Bills and the Chiefs would have 1K selections in the contest. They were close because the Buffalo Bills were so popular. Chiefs did not get there to that 1,000 in the contest. And listeners, make sure you're subscribing to your favorite podcatcher of choice and leaving a review, 5 stars only for the boys. 3-2 body blow last week, getting back into the swing of things. Unfortunately, like I said, we are out of Survivor, but at 18-20 in Circa Sports Million, we're not doing too bad. We string together a couple of really big weeks, and we can get this thing right on track.
What'd you say?
We're not 18-20.
Yeah, that seems
18,
bad.
18-12. Sorry. Thank you. You know, I say so many words when I do these things that I have probably a pretty decent hit rate in terms of mistakes. When I listen back or when I'm editing, I cringe a little bit, but I literally say thousands of words, so thank you for checking me. Yeah, let's get back to winning ways. Split games this week. We have 4 split contests where there are 2 hosts on one side and 2 hosts on the other. And we will start with, as I grab my notes here, Colts at Titans. The Titans are the favorites in this spot, laying 2.5 points against their AFC South rivals. And both DP and Mo have a very strong opinion on this game, and they are both taking the home favorite, the Tennessee Titans, laying the points. DP, you got him a tick higher than Mo, however, so I will kick things to you. Start us off this week. Talk about Tennessee coming off the bye against Indy in this spot.
Well, my first thing is what you mentioned right there. Tennessee coming off extra rest against a team that I feel like they are pretty much superior against across the board. I think it feels like, to me, people are kind of high on the Colts after what we saw from them last week. I guess most specifically high on Matt Ryan after that game because he had some pretty banger numbers. What was it, like 390 yards and 3 touchdowns? I mean, he's still Matt Ryan to me, and I'm not willing to. I mean, coming into the season, I was high like you guys on the Colts, or you guys other than Mo on the Colts. And then as the season went on, I continued to get, okay, the Colts are probably bad. They're probably bad. Now I'm not going to just turn back around on 1 week. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. I don't think the Colts have looked that great overall. I think this one is on the wrong side of 3. I think it should be at 3.5. And yeah, that's why I have the Titans pretty high.
Mo, continue with this pro-Titans narrative. You're not going to get much pushback from me on Indy. I did click them, but this was in coin flip territory, so go ahead, Mo.
Would I get pushback from Ghost Brett?
Let me check. I don't.
Or was he low?
I
could see Brett liking the Colts here.
He was middle of the right, dead middle on the Colts.
I'll let it slide. Just a few matchups that I think favor the Titans here. I had this line at 3. It's off the bye. They're evenly matched teams. And I think a few small things that I like about the Titans matchup here. For one thing, they're strong on the interior of the line. I've talked about DeForest Buckner, how much damage he was doing in some of these other games. I think they can contain DeForest Buckner because the strength of the Titans line is on the interior. They have poor tackles, but not too worried about the Colts edge rushers compared to some other spots. Another thing is just the pass rush for the Titans. I'm going to just keep fading this Colts offense, I guess, until I'm broke. I don't know. I must be the low man in the world on the Colts still. I've upgraded them a little bit in my brain, but I mean, the offense played better against the Jags. They for sure did, but the Jags don't have the sort of pass rush the Titans have. They have a borderline top 5 type of pass rush. Jeffrey Simmons, one of the best pass rushers in the league. You don't want Matt Ryan under pressure. I mean, this guy can't move. He's willing to throw off his back foot. He doesn't have an arm. This is where I've seen major, like really concerning plays from them, basically. And if he's put under pressure by the Titans, which he should be, then I think we could see kind of more of the blow up type of Matt Ryan plays that we were seeing earlier in the season. So do think the Titans should have been laying the full 3. And I don't know, man. Is this a contest play? Colts are getting the tickets.
60% on Indy as well. And I think that goes to what Donnie was saying. Everybody laid eyes on Matt Ryan nearly throwing 400 yards last week, and maybe they think everything's fixed. And I will say, I brought this up on my solo recap on Monday morning, that Frank Reich teams tend to get off to slow starts. So there's a little part of me that wants to give them the benefit of the doubt. Even your folks, your cohort at the Lions, Mo, they really jumped Indy up this week. I think 5 spots in power rankings. They are decidedly ahead of this Tennessee team. So I don't know. I'm not in love with this game. I could honestly see either team winning and just had no strong opinion here. So we'll move to Chiefs at Niners. The Chiefs are road favorites in this spot. 2.5 in the contest. There's some 3s out there still, I believe. And once again, DP has the highest opinion on this game, taking the home dog, the San Francisco 49ers, once again in your top 5, DP. So talk about Kyle Shanahan and them boys.
So first thing I got to get off here is that we got to file this one under stay tuned for the injury report, because
yes, very much so.
It could be, it's Thursday night now. It could be pretty bad come Friday night. But if we do get these players back, I mean, Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, I think, are some pretty big ones for the 49ers, and they were limited in practice, which is better than seeing a DNP. So hopefully that means trending in the right direction. But again, we'll have to, see how they shake up towards the end of the week, and probably revisit on Saturday if this ends up making it. That said, good defense for San Francisco that I think is going to give the Chiefs a lot of trouble. I know the Chiefs offense is pretty good overall, especially moving the ball through the air through Mahomes, but I think the 49ers can do a good enough job against him and that defense. But I wouldn't sleep on the 49ers offense. I think they can get a lot done and move the ball pretty well. I don't think the 49ers this year have been moving the ball too well in the run game, but I don't really care. I think against the Chiefs, you got to be willing to throw the ball and put up points. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, I think can do that for them. I think they're going to be in this one right until the end, if not win it. I had this one about 1.5 points, so I think it's a couple points too high. So yeah, I'm on the 49ers here. But again, pay attention to that injury report, because things could go south quickly.
And it looks like Circa's line, which is 2.5 compared to some of the 3s showing in real life, kind of is predictive in that they might think that this Niners injury report might look clean by Friday. I don't know, though. Mo and I are the ones on the Chiefs. I'm higher than Mo. Mo has the Chiefs very low. I've got the Chiefs middle of the pack. And when looking at this game...
Hold on a second.
Go ahead. Do you have the Niners? I might just be wrong.
Did I click Chiefs?
No. You may have the Niners, and I just might be mistaken.
Okay.
But
I clicked off my card, so I don't know where it went.
That means Brett is with me on the Chiefs.
Okay.
But... nevertheless, the thing that really popped out to me was the Chiefs' pressure rate on defense. 4th in pressure rate, 6th in blitzing. They're going to be bringing a ton of bodies. This is what Spags does. And how does Jimmy Garoppolo react to that? Because like Donnie said, you're probably going to need to throw the ball in this game, especially if your defense is banged up. Even if they do get a clean bill of health from some of these players on Friday, you've still got Javon Kinlaw and Emmanuel Mosley, on IR. So good bounce back spot. Chiefs lost in a basically a prime time game last week. In that 425 window, they were pretty much all alone. I mean, even Red Zone pretty much showed Chiefs Bills exclusively for the nation. So I like the Chiefs in the bounce back spot here. Get out west, get the dub. And it's been a long couple of weeks for the Niners, who went out east, stayed out east, kind of got ground down in a physical game against the Falcons last week. And now they have to ho-hum go home and play against Kansas City. Mo, I know you were low on this game, but the Chiefs are your squad, so put a pin on this contest.
I wanted to love the Niners. I did. At first, I was like, this is a great spot for the Niners. +3. It was early in the week. I touted the Niners +3 on our show on the lines, but I did say watch out for the injury report, and I'm a little concerned about this Niners secondary. What is going to happen if 3 backup defensive backs are in there against this Chiefs passing offense? Hufanga, whatever that guy's name is, that dude I said is the best defensive player I've seen all year. He hasn't practiced. We already know Emmanuel Mosley is out because he tore his ACL. And then Travarius Ward, longtime Chief, he's gonna miss his revenge game. That makes me a little sad for him. But yeah, if they have 3 backup DBs, man, it could be a little ugly. Thing is, Nick Bosa has a dream matchup here against. Anytime he's lined up against Wiley, he's going to destroy him. And then he can probably still beat Orlando Brown plenty. So I'm basically thinking that could be a problem for the Chiefs offense. And then on the other side of the ball, the Chiefs' poor tackling. We've talked about it a bunch of times on this show. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, these are not the guys you want to be poor tackling against. So a couple promising things for the Niners. But yeah, I don't think I can be confident in it when we might have all these backup DBs in there. So I just threw it at the bottom of my card and just leaving this one alone, I think.
Let's go to another AFC West team. The Las Vegas Raiders are playing host to the Houston Texans. The Raiders are 7-point favorites in the contest. Again, this is onto, as opposed to off of a key number. Whereas in real life, this is 6.5. So I don't know if Circa's doing any predicting here or what. I don't have any indication that this is going to get to 7 in actual markets, especially given the injury report. Hunter Renfrow popped up as a DNP today after being limited on Wednesday. They still don't have Darren Waller in practice. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury that he sustained.
Who the hell is Darren Waller?
Speaking of who the hell, Kevin White just had a 64-yard catch.
I almost
Kevin White.
Did you see who made that play?
Who's
a guy called Kevin White?
So I'm not watching the game. I legitimately 1,000% Scout's honor. I don't know if the camera can catch that. I don't even know what team he's on. I don't know if he's on the
He's on the Saints.
Is he on the Saints? Okay, let's go. Be a Saint. Why didn't we have the Saints on the card, guys? Why didn't we take a second and put New Orleans on the card?
Because Brett's wasted right now. We would have had to make an executive decision.
Well, we should have done it, man. We all loved New Orleans in the spot. Yeah, exactly. Who is Darren Waller? He's been dealing with this hamstring injury since July. He's been a complete ghost this season for the Raiders, and I don't know how we can trust them to get up and create a lead and sustain a lead with this passing offense. You've got a mediocre quarterback who's horrific in the red zone. They're, I believe, bottom 3 in red zone efficiency the last couple of years. So I think that's predictive. And you need to score touchdowns if you're going to cover 7 points. And on the other side, I kind of like Davis Mills in this matchup against a horrific Raiders defense coming off the bye. Mo, you're shaking your head. You're laying the wood with the Raiders here.
Who's with me on this one?
You and I are the only people that have opinions.
It's not me, because you're an insane person for taking the Raiders.
Love the Raiders. The Raiders should be above 7 here, I think.
Stop.
Houston is atrocious, man.
And the Raiders are mediocre and horrific in the red zone.
They have a fine passing offense.
But they don't score touchdowns. You need to score touchdowns. They're not going to score touchdowns.
Texans can't do anything positive in football, okay? So when they're facing a reasonable team on the road and it's under a touchdown, I'm interested. All right.
Didn't they almost beat the Chargers in a football game?
No.
Oh no, was that a
They
blowout?
were down 21 in that game.
They covered though. Backdoor
No, they
wide
didn't.
open. They didn't cover.
They did not. They almost did. The Chargers scored again at the end.
Damn
I think,
it.
and covered.
I look at everything Texans through rose-colored glasses. Apparently,
They almost did, but they didn't. Okay. This is just the Raiders at least have a pass rush against a bad quarterback on the road, and then the only
but they're
thing the
24th.
Texans
But they're
have,
24th in pressure rate. So
well, they were playing good against the Chiefs. I don't know. Maybe they'll play good again. Look, the only thing the Texans have going for them is some guy named Damian Pierce. I never seen this guy take a carry in college, but he's trucking people, all right? But when the line is 7 and you're on the road and you're bad, how much Damian Pierce is he even going to matter in this game? He's the only thing that's positive on that football team.
DP, since you think it's crazy to have the Raiders, are you not in love with the Texans, or are you just terrified of the Texans?
Well, terrified of the Texans, of course. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. There is still a chance that the Raiders can put up points, and Texans don't put up any, and the Raiders get the cover. But I don't see how you can lay 7 points with this Raiders team. They look like a disaster. They can't score touchdowns. Their defense stinks. I mean, come on.
We move to our
professional pride. Just back the Texans.
That's right, Lovie Smith, baby. This is where we get to 2 wins, right here. Why can't the Texans win this game? Don't Texans make that sound? Speaking of sounders, so we got a double sounder game here to finish the split games. It is Falcons at Bengals. The Bengals are 6.5 point favorites in the contest, and I'm legitimately shocked that this is a split game given how much we generally love the frisky Falcons and generally how much we don't like Zach Taylor, and rule of we need coaches and someone needs to tell Zach Taylor to just throw the ball and be aggressive, because that's what you need to cover 6.5 in this spot. I don't know what
sounds like you've got the Falcons.
Yeah, why are the Falcons getting so much disrespect in the market here? I think 6.5 is a crazy line against a Bengals team that's just kind of average, a little bit above average, and all the Falcons do is keep going out and doing it. Arthur Smith, Brian Daboll, and Mike McDaniel have been so impressive this year in taking really mediocre parts and absolutely maximizing their output. What they're doing with something Woda in this offense, what they're doing with something Huntley running the ball, they dominated the Niners last week. Obviously, injuries had something to do with that, but they won by 2 touchdowns. So let's give some credit where credit is due. I think the thing I learned the most is how bad Matt Ryan is for this Arthur Smith offense to look like it does this year compared to what it was last year. And yeah, I'm not expecting the Falcons to go out here and win again as dogs, but they're the type of team that they can play in neutral script the way they run the ball. They can obviously play in positive script the way they run the ball, but they have so much talent on the outside that if they do fall behind, they're also a backdoor candidate. Mo, you are on which time? I don't know which side.
I have Falcons low. I had the line slightly too high.
Are you afraid that this is a fish side? Is that what's got you
I
low?
think it is a fish side, right? Aren't the Falcons the fish side every week? When are they not going to be the fish side? They have to not cover first, right?
But they're not getting the respect from the market despite covering over and over and over again. It's not like last week. I mean, they're still plus 5.5 at home, obviously against a good Niners team. But when do these lines adjust? They haven't adjusted yet. DP, you're off your frisky Falcons. I'm so confused by it. This is like me fading Geno last week. I got punished for it. I lost a pizza.
I mean, I'm super low on the Bengals here, and honestly, I really just looked at like where I saw the tickets were, and I was like, you know what, the hell with this. The Falcons are like infinity and 0 against the spread this season, so I'm taking the other side, and the heck with it.
Fair enough. The split games. DP and Mo love the Tennessee Titans. Brett and I are lukewarm on the Colts. Chiefs, Niners. DP loves the Niners. No real resistance from either of us there. Texans, Raiders. We got a big split there between Mo and I. I love the Texans. He loves the Raiders. And then Falcons, Bengals. I got the Falcons in my top 5. Let's show some respect to Atlanta. Didn't get much resistance from any member of the collective. Well, it's time to get real interesting because your boy has 5 lone wolves, 2 in his top 5. I'm ready to defend them. Next. Everybody wrote him off.
I have no idea where this is going.
And he didn't write
You know
back.
exactly where this is going. He didn't write back.
Oh, yeah. Well,
it's my last pick, so we'll get to it in a bit. But once again, I flip-flop back to Gino and everybody else is on the other side. But more importantly, the 2 lone wolves in my top 5. We start with a team that I absolutely love this week. A team that was nearly my top pick as a lone wolf. I guess I'm crazy, guys.
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
The Steelers are a bottom 3 team in the league. Don't let last week throw you off the scent. This is an awful football team with an awful roster. The only thing they're good at is wide receiver. And now they have Mitchell Trubisky back at quarterback, probably.
They? Because now all of a sudden I'm really interested in the Steelers. You didn't watch last week, if that's what you're saying.
Trubisky came in and was frisky, but he's generally an awful quarterback that's not going to put these receivers in position to succeed. At least Pickett was just chucking the ball all over the yard. Trubisky does not do that, okay? This is rule of the Bucs prepared for Pickett, and then Trubisky went in there and kind of ran around and made a couple of throws. But again, this is a sleepy Bucs team that doesn't care. You even said it yourself, Mo. They don't care about the regular season. They're just in the motions, okay? Thanksgiving, we can check back in on Tampa Bay and see if they're an actual... You got the quarterback going to weddings on Friday night. You got him besmirching the troops, comparing football to being deployed in the military. Just an absolute embarrassment of a human being, Tom Brady. So we can just throw that. By the way, that's Tomlin's Super Bowl, right? The fact that he beat Tom Brady, like he just fold it up and call it a season. The Dolphins are going to shred the Steelers in this game. Tua back. Mike McDaniel is going to get this offense cooking. Look what McDaniel did the last couple of weeks with his quarterbacks getting knocked out of games in the first quarter. They were going toe for toe with the Vikings last week. They were down 2 points against the Jets a couple of weeks ago. Don't let those final results sway you out of believing in this Dolphins offense. And while the Dolphins defense is in question, I just don't think a Steelers offensive attack captained by Mitchell Trubisky is something to be afraid about. I will say the one thing I'm afraid about in this game. This is straight to Narrativeville. You know it, Donnie. You know exactly what I'm going to say. What am I going to say?
You better say what I hope you're going to say.
Well, you say it. Tell the people.
Brian Flores revenge game.
It's the Brian Flores revenge game, guys. That's the only thing that has me worried. DP, talk about it.
I mean, teams are scoring 25 points against the Dolphins every single week, man. I don't know what you like. The Steelers are going to score here, and I'm not sure I trust the Dolphins offense with Tua coming off like 19 different concussions, looked like he was knocked into the next century, just going to come back and just be like ready to go. Like, I don't think that that's going to necessarily happen. As good
the Steelers aren't going to sniff him, okay? They have 0 bodies up front, 29th in pressure rate. They are a complete paper tiger without TJ Watt. So I'm not worried about Tua even being touched in this game.
I mean, they only have to scare him as far as I'm concerned. Don't even have to sniff him. Just scare him a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
It is spooky season.
I mean, I don't know what to expect from Tua back there at all. Like, I really don't. I don't know what we're going to get out of him. The thing that I do know is what I said, and that's the Dolphins give up a crap ton of points every single week. I mean, I just think it's hard to lay 7 when the other team's going to score 21 to 28 points.
Mo is excited about Mitchell Trubisky in 2022.
Did you see the dimes he was throwing against the Bucks last week?
Do you think that's
multiple strikes?
Do you think that's sustainable though? After you've watched Mitchell Trubisky start probably dozens of NFL games, do you think that's indicative of what he's capable of doing?
He was throwing strikes. It was beautiful.
The wildest thing about Trubisky is that his best throw is him rolling left, throwing with his right hand across his body. Like, that's his best throw, which should be the worst, most difficult throw he ever makes, but he makes that look so easy.
I'm not buying the Steelers off of a win as 8-point dogs. I'm not buying Mitchell Trubisky in prime time. Give me the Dolphins. Big, after 3 losses, quarterbacks dying left and right. This is a roll show at Hard Rock Stadium on Sunday night.
A roll show against the loom. Good luck.
Ooh.
Play the sounder.
Oh, no.
Who's clicking the Steelers here? The Dolphins have an atrocious defense, like Donnie said. Really, really bad. They can't stop anybody. When I saw the Steelers play against an atrocious defense, against the Browns, they were moving the rock, dude. They can move the rock against bad defenses. This is a bad defense. It's bad.
I'm worried. I'm worried about the Flores thing. But what if the Dolphins players are fired up to play against him? What if they hated him that much?
Why would they hate him? He had the Dolphins playing above their talent level every year. They probably love him.
My next lone wolf in my top 5. Brett would be proud, even though he loves the other side. Everybody loves the other side except for me. And I get that, as I scroll to my notes here, that on the surface, laying this many points, 8 points, with a team that's not that great at throwing the football, probably not the best idea. But what is Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense going to do on the road against Belichick? Don't you look at me like that, Mo.
Well, look at this defense on paper. I don't care what they've been doing. They don't have good players.
Something Duggar is elite. I tried telling you guys 2 years ago that Belichick was going to turn Duggar into an elite player, and you guys just wouldn't believe me.
He's athletic. What this is? That's it. He's not elite.
Well, that's the thing. That's what this is. For the longest time, Bill Belichick was taking unathletic hacks like Kyle Van Noy and turning them into elite players. Now he's got athletes like something Duggar, right? That he's getting to run his system. These guys are playing awesome right now. What are the Bears going to do? How are they going to score points? And the Bears
pound the rock. That's how. The Patriots don't have a good run defense.
But who has successfully pounded the rock against the Patriots? That should have been the bread and butter for the Browns last week.
Well, they went up. Sorry, they went up 20 on them.
And then on the other side, the Bears can't stop the run themselves. 27th in rush defense EPA, 27th in rush defense DVOA. Patriots plunging forward.
So both teams are plunging. Sounds like someone's covering 2 scores for sure.
The Patriots plunged against the Lions and won by like 40. Why can't they do it against the Bears?
The injury-riddled Lions.
Which probably still have
Bears
a better
got
offense.
A week and a half off. Good spot for the Bears.
Love the Pats. DP turning your back once again on Bill Belichick. It's disgraceful.
I mean, you can't lay 8 points with this team. I refuse to believe it. You just can't do it.
By the way, I mean, you can do it. They're gonna destroy this Bears team. By the way,
who's playing quarterback? You're gonna lose your Zeppeli charm.
That's okay. Hoyer's a better quarterback. He should be. He should be in there.
Mac Jones.
Or, excuse me. Sorry, Mac Jones. He's a better quarterback. I said this in Discord, patreon.com/Gridiron Gamble. Hoyer's, Jesus, I keep doing it. Mac Jones is way more talented than Zeppeli.
He's way more talented, but what if the team's like, we're behind this Zeppeli guy, and now you're just going to throw Jones back in there, and you're going to screw everything up?
I was thinking the same thing as Donnie. What if the players are irritated that the guy who is winning every game for them is getting benched. What about a couple punts early? Could be a little locker room discord there.
Something Zeppeli. What was the point? Oh, what's the special teams guy's name? He was Cameron Archer, right? Is that the guy's name?
Or something?
Cameron Archer. Jesus, I'm all over the place tonight. He was a star last week. Did you guys see when that idiot special teams guy recovered it was a muff punt or a fumble or something, and he ran the ball to Belichick? Cameron Accord was like, "Get out of here, guy. This isn't high school." Like, he was pushing the guy away from Bill Belichick. Elite coaching from Cameron Accord. What a legend.
Jerome Boger, can I just say, Jerome Boger is the number one agent of Illume in the world. That guy will usher anybody down the field. I mean, dude, the Cardinals are just being absolutely, they're just, Boger's there. He's there for them. He's there for them because this is prime time and we can't have the Saints going up 14 points.
He's there to call Holden.
Get him there.
Holden. Jerome Boger.
Holden.
Speaking of Trash Brady, hates his team, hates the troops. I've got Panthers plus 11. It's Darnold season, guys. I obviously have my last 3 Lone Wolves are way low. I've got no belief in these whatsoever. But how can we lay 11 points with the Bucs? How is it possible? Mo, explain it to me. You're the highest on the Bucs. Yes, I've seen the Panthers
offense.
But it was quarterbacked by Baker Mayfield and then PJ Walker. PJ Walker, by the way.
So now it's quarterbacked by Sam Darnold off the shelf.
I got bad news. It's quarterbacked by
Darnold
PJ Walker again.
Wait, it is PJ?
Yes. Someone is going to have to tell me.
Is it official?
Yes.
Then I honestly think we need to talk about Bucs.
Someone is going to have to tell me how
I'm serious.
You go. What is PJ Walker doing in practice?
So I tweeted, someone put up his next gen attempts and how they were plotted. Everything was at the line of scrimmage. I'm talking, his deepest pass was, I don't know, like 7 yards. It was, you had a team that had a defensive touchdown and the defense played incredible in Los Angeles. Didn't even have a chance of covering 10. Not a chance. There was no scenario where the Panthers were covering 10 last week. And it was because of PJ Walker. We need to have a serious conversation about the Bucs if PJ Walker is playing quarterback. I'm serious.
Well, he's definitely playing quarterback. No, I don't know how when you have multiple other better options, but it's happening. Okay.
Somebody off the street. Wait, can we get anybody? Where's Fitzpatrick? Pull Fitzpatrick. Cade? Cade's doing stuff with my guy Josh Norris. Shouts to JN. Shouts to Elon. Go Phoenix. Anybody. PJ Walker is literally the worst. So given that information, I'm switching. The Bucs are a consensus pick, and we need to have a serious conversation about Tampa Bay. Browns at Ravens. I'm laying the wood with the Ravens again, not confidently. I'm terrified of what this Browns team has looked like with Jacoby Brissett playing absolutely awful at quarterback, turning the ball over. This is something that we were like, okay, veteran presence, someone that's going to go in there, execute the offense, turn in hand to Nick Chubb, turn in hand to Kareem Hunt. He's handing the ball to the other team. And then the Browns still can't get stops, especially against the run. So what are they going to do when Lamar starts breaking loose? I don't love that it's probably something Kenyon Drake as his caddy back there in the backfield. I actually think J.K. Dobbins might matter to this offense because they've got some horrific players at running back outside of Dobbins. It's so bad that they need Gus Edwards. They need the Gus bus. That's how bad this running back room is right now. But yeah, I took the favorite here. They were up 10 in the fourth quarter against the Giants. People forget that. And then a couple of dumb mistakes later, they lose the game outright. So good bounce back spot. I guess the Browns team that's kind of reeling right now. DP, you've got the Browns in the middle. Defend Cleveland.
I mean, you can't lay points to this Ravens team right now as far as I'm concerned. They can't hold
fair.
leads against anyone.
It's fair. It's definitely fair.
I mean,
I can't.
The Browns looked
fault you.
horrendous last week also. I mean, buy a little bit low on them for that, but this is mostly just the fate of the Ravens right now. Even if the Ravens go up 21 points, are you even confident that they're going to hold on to win the game at this point? Because they haven't all season long. They blow it every time.
I believe they are the first team in NFL history to have a double-digit lead in all 6 games and have a losing record.
And aren't these games
they
always
definitely
close
don't
in
have
the
a losing
division?
record.
Or not have a winning
3-3.
not have a winning record, then I think the stat is pretty insane. What did you say there, Donnie? Sorry?
I said, aren't these games always close in this division? All the time? I mean, this
Little
seems
division
ridiculous that
game.
this is this high.
And then my last game. Gino, baby. I understand people wanting to bet the bounce back for this Chargers offense that has struggled mightily. That struggled against a good Denver defense in prime time. Good get right spot. Seahawks defense atrocious. I'll buy it when I see it though.
I just want to go back. So
I'm over Staley, by the way. I'm just over it.
yeah, you have to be, I think, at this point. I just think I'm just fascinated by your thought process. You were willing to
I made a huge mistake
points
last week. Made a huge mistake
with
last
the
week.
Cardinals,
Made a huge mistake.
but now
Made a huge
with the
mistake.
Chargers, who are
And we
actually
told you
good.
Seahawks money line last week. We
Made
told
a huge
you.
mistake. It was free money. Literally, he said it was free money, and it came in free money for everyone that had the plus 130. I made a huge mistake last week. I literally capped one matchup, and that was, and I wasn't even capping both sides of the matchup. I just capped for the Hawks defense. I didn't account for how atrocious the Cardinals offense is, how horrific Cliff Kingsbury is. I let those two things escape me because I looked at one side of one matchup. I think the Seahawks are going to be fine moving the ball here. I am concerned about the Lockett injury. That's something where this was literally my last pick. And if Lockett is out, then I would probably switch to the Chargers. He did play last week, so they might just have him on veteran rest.
Yeah,
right now.
I don't think that's a thing. I don't think he practiced last week either. So I'm
And then
just
played.
assuming this is just whatever. Myles Garrett from last year or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's ultimately why I put the X next to the Seahawks. And by the way, the market agrees to me. This is coming down. It's 4.5 in real life, 5.5 in the contest. So you guys are definitely betting against the grain. DP had them higher, but Mo, it sounds like you have some opinions here on LA.
I just think what you said last week is actually applying this week. Like, dude, they won't get a stop. They won't get a stop against this Chargers offense. And the Chargers, it's interesting because like when you look at Geno, how he's played this year, it's been such a stark contrast. Basically, first 2 games, he's playing against elite defenses. Niners, Broncos. These are top 5 units. He struggled. He struggled big time, okay? And then after that, once he played middle to bad defenses, he's absolutely destroying them, okay? I don't know if the Chargers belong in that top tier. I don't think they do. But I also do think they can get some stops because of their pass rush against like not a good O-line. I don't know. It's not a spot where I'm excited about it for sure. I put it in my bottom tier. I kind of wanted to love the Chargers, but I don't know. I'm interested in laying it in real life as it gets closer to 4. I did think a fair line was like, I think I had 6 as fair here. So when it gets closer to 4, I'm interested in it, but 5.5, I know it's like not a number that matters a whole lot, but it could matter, and it's still only a half point off where I had it. So just fine passing on this, I think, but could be a contest play. I mean, the line
Dude,
keeps moving
people
for sure.
are in love with Seattle. That's another reason why I had this low as opposed to having a real opinion on it. It was something crazy. It's like 80%, something really high on Seattle. People are just deathly afraid to lay points with this Chargers team that has been a disappointment thus far. But yeah, the Seahawks defense is definitely, if there were to be one, a get-right spot for the Chargers offense.
Keenan Allen, too. I mean, this... Am I allowed to say that?
No, that's getting beeped.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he plays, it could make a big difference. I mean, that's... Their offense, just like you said, has not looked exciting. But when you add a number 1, number 2 type of receiver there, I mean, that's just like such a cascading effect, gets some bum, Josh Palmer, whatever, off the field. It's just so much more dangerous with two top guys there. I mean, that being said, it's 50-50. He lasts 2 series. So
for sure. And if Palmer continues to be a DNP, then all of a sudden the Chargers have no weapons outside of Mike Williams, who he himself is very inconsistent. Like his peak, Mike Williams is like incredible, making high point catches and bullying people down the field. But there's times where Mike Williams kind of just disappears in some of these games. And I don't know who to blame that on, whether it be Mike, the scheme, or Howlitzer Herbert, who himself has been not great. Granted, the rib injury, that was a 4 to 6 week timeline. This is week 5. So maybe we give him one more week of benefit of doubt. But yeah, things just have not looked great for the Chargers thus far. All right, finally, I'm done with my Lone Wolves. Done and dusted. Let's go to DP, who loves, I can't believe this, loves Mo. He loves, if you catch my drift, loves the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. What? This is a great spot for the Cowboys offense. Incredible spot. They're going to score infinite points against the Lions. And then you got Jared Goff on the other side against this Dallas pass rush. Good luck. Good luck.
Well, this is kind of...
Jared Goff is going to puddle in his pants. Like, that's what's going to happen. I mean...
Lions, by the way, is a sound.
What if the Lions' offensive line, which is elite and now healthy...
Yeah, so
what if they block this pass rush?
Yeah, okay. I understand that was my number one thing that you guys were going to come back at, but can you honestly trust the Detroit coaching staff to be able to scheme against what this Dallas defensive front does? Because I don't think that I can in any way, shape, or form. I think they're kind of brain dead on the other side. So I'm never going to put any sort of confidence into that.
Amon-Ra back, DeAndre probably back, at least doing everything he can to come back. And yeah, like Mo said, this is an iron sharpens iron game. This is number 1 in pressure rate, number 1 in adjusted sack rate versus number 1 in adjusted sack rate on the other side. So a fun matchup to watch nonetheless in the trenches. And then there's just the Lions' ability to go through the back door. How many times do we have to see the Lions go down 30 points and then come back, and it's a frenzy in the fourth quarter? Scott Hansen is beside himself in the witching hour, and all of a sudden the Lions are through the back door. Mo, I feel like this is the thing we see over and over and over again. And then you've got McCarthy. What if he just starts plunging in classic McCarthy style? They should be throwing the entire game. Let Dak cook. But I don't trust McCarthy to do that.
What if, I don't know, we don't know if Dak is going to be good? I mean, he was bad in week 1. What if he's not right?
It's going to help playing against the Lions defense.
That's true.
Sure.
I looked at the thing. Okay, he waited a lot longer than Russ to come back. So I think that like bodes well for him, but we don't know. We don't know. And yeah, I like the matchup of this Lions O-line being able to keep Goff clean. And like you said, you were basically talking about it, Rich. All these players coming back. We haven't seen the real Lions offense in 3 weeks. People forgot that this team was moving the rock and actually able to score. It's a good time to buy the Lions offense. I know they stink on D, but I mean, Dallas is not guaranteed to be awesome on offense either. They've been really not good, actually. So Cooper Rush has been just whatever, letting the defense do the work for him. And if they don't score defensive touchdowns, I don't know. I want to see Dak play well before I believe in this Cowboys offense.
That was Donnie's only lone wolf. Mo only has one as well, and he said to me in WhatsApp, I figured. And that's because he's got the Giants +3 traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Mo, look at Donnie's eyes for those in the listening audience.
Thank God we did not talk about Thursday Night Football, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, dude. I heard went out somehow, and
I heard my wife Jenna just yell.
Multiple defensive touchdowns are happening.
2 pick sixes in like 2 minutes from Dalton.
No.
Yeah.
No. My wife just yelled, "He gone" from the living room. So I knew something happened, but I've got nothing up. So I've got no idea what's going on.
2 pick sixes against this defense. What are you doing?
Does anybody know where Andy Dalton's family is? And if not, check on them. They might be in a dusty basement in Georgia. And I'm not talking about the
Boger
state.
doing work. I look up as soon as we get the thing on. Boger's pointing backwards on Saints. Illum is counting their money right now.
Mo, the Giants. Richie James. Daniel Bellinger. What do you got?
I knew this was going to be a lone wolf because it's so obvious the Jags are the sharp side. But what if this line is just too high?
This is the week.
Why should the Jags?
You can't pick the Giants here.
So Daboll has been out of this world incredible thus far. It is unreal. I mean, just look at the formations. They're running 23. They're running 14. They ran, I think, multiple 14 sets with 4 tight ends on the field last week because he is looking at his roster and there's nobody at receiver. I mean, Kadarius Toney is quickly becoming the new Kevin White. Kenny Golladay is just completely out of the picture. They at least got something Wandale back. And what did Daboll do immediately? Schemed a touchdown for him because evidently Daboll is just the GOAT. But how many times can the Giants just keep doing this? How many times can the Giants keep falling behind by multiple scores and coming back and winning games? I think it runs out here. And I think the Jags, I'm just going to keep martingaling them until they bring it together. They keep outgaining people. They keep getting into the red zone. They keep doing everything except for punching the ball in and winning football games. And I'm just going to keep martingaling it until it happens. I have to.
I just feel like these teams are evenly matched, so I don't know why the line is 3.
They're not, though. Look at these rosters. The Giants. Dude, the Giants.
I know that. I know that. I know that. The Jags haven't played well in weeks now, though.
They have, though. It's just high leverage spots they keep hitting the bed. Maybe that's predictive. I don't know. But at some point, these efficiency metrics have to count for something.
Every fake sharp in the contest is on the Jags. I promise you that.
Is it going to be that popular? Are they? I thought people loved the Giants. 64% of the tickets are on New York. 64%. This is I've been hearing the opposite in terms of people are loving the Giants for everything they're doing. And people are like, why are the Jags favored? Why is this 3? That's the kind of stuff that I've been hearing. DP, what about you? Back on the Jags.
Well, Kenny Golladay is the Rashard Lewis of the NFL. That's who I've designated him.
That is very rude to Rashard Lewis, who was a very good player for many years.
So was Golladay. This is a great comp.
He got paid a crap ton of money for nothing.
Relax.
This is a great comp.
No, it's such a perfect comp. That's exactly how I do. Listen, I feel like I almost fell into the trap that Mo is falling into, and it's that like maybe I'm just dumb for picking against the Giants because they get it done every single week. But come on, this is buy low, sell high, like to the T. The Giants are 5-1, and I've watched, for whatever reason, the Giants are always on my TV every single week, and I'm like, how are they? First of all, it's not only how are they covering, how are they winning football games? They're just pulling these games out. It's just unbelievable to watch them play behind whatever Daboll's doing and Saquon Barkley. Like, that's what's happening. And it's mesmerizing out there, and they're getting it done. And that has to turn around at some point. And then on the other side, the Jaguars have lost 3 straight. I mean, come on. That's a decent football team. Like, this has to turn around. I mean, the Giants can lose a game here. It's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. They're 5-1. Big deal. Like, they need to come back down to earth a little bit. And I think this is the week that they do.
3 straight. One in which they were up multiple scores, and the other 2 they outgained their opponents. This is the week. This is the Jags week. The Lone Wolves. I've got all of them. Dolphins, Patriots, Panthers, which is no longer a Lone Wolf. I'm on Bucks, Ravens, and Seahawks. Donnie's got the Cowboys. Mo has the Giants. All right, boys, strap in. It's time for the card.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Mo led us last week with a 3-2 record, but I'm going to just play Brett's pick straight off the bat here. Let him take the lead. He sent this to me via WhatsApp. It is a consensus pick, and it's something that I'm concerned about. But here we go.
I've got the Commies plus 4.5 at home. This game checks so many boxes for me. Rule of backup quarterback. For starters, Taylor Heineke definitely meets the threshold of a serviceable backup quarterback in the NFL. Would anyone be surprised if he outperformed Carson Wentz? Because I know I wouldn't be. On top of that, the Commanders have that extra rest and time to prepare coming off that Thursday night football game against the Bears. And on the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers is clearly dealing with that thumb injury on his throwing hand. That's nagging him, and he's playing behind an offensive line that cannot protect him. There's a strong possibility the injury only gets worse if he continues to get hit. And this Commanders defense generates a lot of pressure, near the top of the league in both pressure rate and sacks so far this year. Plus, you've got two teams here operating at the slowest pace in the NFL. I'm expecting a slow crawl of a football game here. The Commanders might just go out and win at home. Money bet line. And yeah, Commanders plus 4.5.
I wasn't expecting money bet line there on the Commies. Just some numbers to back up what Brett was saying there. Yeah, very slow pace. Green Bay 31st in situation neutral pace. The Commanders 29th. That plays into the 41 total in this spot. And yeah, Commies 3rd in pressure rate, 4th in defense adjusted sack rate, which is shocking because they still don't have Chase Young, who is rehabbing off of that ACL injury. Mo, your eyes popped when you heard it, but you've got the Commies in your top 5 as well, so you can't be too worried about having something Heineken on the card.
Definitely not worried. My biggest thing here was just the same thing Brett said. What if Heineken is better than Wentz? There's definitely a non-zero chance. I mean, we've seen him perform at a high level before. We've seen it. I know he sucked last year, but Wentz also sucked, and he sucked this year. So what if Heineken just comes out and plays better? I mean, there's weapons on this offense. We know that. We've seen Wentz moving the ball, scoring touchdowns multiple weeks early in the season before he's just completely collapsed in multiple turnovers. And yeah, that's been a problem. Red zone, poor play, not punching the ball in. But maybe Heineken can, not give the ball away in some big spots. Maybe the players will believe in Heineken because they're sick of Wentz. I mean, wouldn't you be sick of Wentz? I mean, dude.
I've been sick of Wentz for years now.
I just think the one thing that worries me, though, is this could be a get-right spot for the Packers offense, too. Their passing game, for sure. I just don't think this is a good secondary at all, but
who are they throwing to? Cobb isn't practicing. Watson isn't practicing. Like, they already are depleted of talent, and now they're depleted of healthy, bad talent. And then, the Rodgers thumb thing, he was favoring that thumb throughout the game against the Jets. So, he's going to tough it out. He's going to play through it, but he's definitely not at 100%, and he just doesn't trust these weapons yet. DP, you were the lowest on the Commies. Got to take your temperature. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I mean, at this point, in their careers, I'd be willing to bet on pretty much anyone other than Carson Wentz having a higher ceiling. I don't understand why people want to continue to make the arguments for Carson Wentz. I think we've seen enough of him.
To be fair, ceiling isn't the issue with Wentz.
Well, I mean, like being better overall. Like I just don't. I don't see it with Wentz. I think we haven't seen it for a long period of time. People keep like cherry picking like one or two plays or something. Like I don't know. Just listening to like even the Commanders and Ron Rivera talk. Like we saw some plays that we saw that the potential is still there. Like no, dude, he's been around for years now. Like I think we've seen what we've seen from Wentz, and he's not that good. Okay, he's just not that good. So I would be willing to bet on Heineke here versus Wentz, and I think that he could be potentially a better quarterback. The thing that I am worried about, though, and why I had this lower on my card is what Mo pointed out, is that this could be a get-right spot for this Packers offense, specifically with Aaron Rodgers, who seems to be catching increasingly more flack every single week with not being able to get it done. So I know it is the whole team and it is the whole offense, not just Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is the focal point of that. He is the star. He is the quarterback, so he's going to get the brunt of it all. And at some point this season, Rodgers is going to have a 4 touchdown game where he throws for 350 yards. He's just going to crush it, right? Is that going to be this week? I mean, it could happen. Yeah. So that's why I'm a little bit less confident in it, but this is the commies being the right side for sure.
If we think Rodgers is going to throw for a ton of yards, I mean, you have to get Lazard into every single lineup that you play in DFS because there is no other receiver. Lazard.
Well, the thing is, you don't know what week it's going to be. Like, it's going to happen one week, and you just don't know which one it's going to be.
It's whenever the hate boils over with Rodgers.
Hashtag this is the week. All right, Mo, you are up next. Your top pick was sniped by the Collective, which had the only other consensus pick this week. And you have the opposite side of one of my Lone Wolves as your top pick now. Who is it?
I've got the Bears.
You guys
The
have your
total
fun.
is 40.
Okay.
And the line's 8. This game is going to be a slop fest.
The
And
Monday
slop
Night
fest,
Hammer
Give me
with
8.
Justin Fields on the road against Bill Belichick. Not looking forward to this. DP, how do you feel? You did click the
Great
Bears.
spot. Great
Loom,
spot.
too. We've got a Loom on our side. Come on.
Can
Bill's
Boger
been
do
getting
2 games
fat.
this week?
Bill's been getting fat off Zeppelis. Like, we're good. We're good right now. I mean, he's been playing some crappy opponents who haven't showed up.
Zeppelis are so elite. I know, Donnie, when you go back home, there's a lot of Italian cuisine going on. You've got the winemaking going in your family. Are Zeppelis ever on the menu?
Yeah, not like for.
Or you're
for
more
Christmas
cannoli
and Thanksgiving. Cannolis are like a staple whenever. They're always there. Zeppelis are more
Cannolis
like
whenever.
special occasion.
Yeah. Zeppelis are very rich. So, yeah, you can only bust them out so often. All right, DP, you're up next. And are you sticking with it?
I mean, yeah, I'm sticking with it. I trust myself this year. I'm back to trusting myself. We got Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Bring it on. We're laying all the wood,
What?
OG DP style. Let's go. A full touchdown. Eat it, Mo. Bring it.
Mo, this is where you say, what are the veto rules?
I might veto this. Keep going with the rest of the card.
Okay, so I'm up next. And
Well, there's one I would actually put on. Well, let's see what the rest of the card is first before I.
Well, I was going to say your next pick is Mo's third pick. So that's just
But
something
I think I'd rather have my third pick on.
Well, your third pick, spoiler alert, is the Collective.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
I've got Martingale. I'm doing it again. I'm going to smash my head into a wall until it happens. If it takes me 18 weeks, damn it, I'll do it for 18 weeks. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars on the card, fading the Giants, the fakest 5-1 team you'll ever see. At some point, this lackluster roster is going to perform to the norm and not come back from double-digit deficits and not keep winning football games. And at some point, the fact that the Jags keep outgaining people and keep having success between the 20s is going to result in good things. So give us the Jags.
Just don't be surprised if we're with 1,100 of our closest friends here. All right?
I don't know, man. I think I will take a pizza on more people taking the Giants than the Jags.
You're booked. You're booked.
Just giving Mo all the pizzas. That's all I do. I'm just a pizza factory for Mo. And he never requests them, by the way. I'm probably down like infinite.
I think it's like 5, but Donnie was down 10, so I'm trying to get him down. He's down to like 6 now.
He doesn't even tell me. He just sends me a random receipt like every once in a while, and it's like, here. I'm like, okay.
You know what to do. All right. Time for the Collective machine to crank out our consensus pick.
The Collective chooses the Denver Broncos.
They make that sound. Are we sure about this guy?
What do you mean, are we
Who
sure?
cares?
Why wouldn't we be sure?
Well, I thought you said, are we sure like we want Brett Rippon? I don't care who plays
That's what
quarterback.
I mean. You don't care if it's something.
Care. This
something
is
ripping against.
Russ is gonna play.
Ultra contest play. Ultra contest play.
Are people gonna line up to take the JETS?
Yes.
Are they really gonna line up to take them short of a field goal?
All the leverage here. Nobody's taking Broncos. Everyone's taking Jets.
Okay, well, sell me on something ripping winning a football game.
I can't do that, but I can sell you on this Denver defense. That's what I can sell you on. The Jets
Well, then I'll sell
they
you on
haven't
the Jets
completed a forward pass.
Well, I'll sell you on the Jets defense then. Elite up front.
Sauce
Elite
can
corner
only
play.
guard one guy, all right?
Well, DJ Reed can guard the other guy then. This defense is really good. And it's something ripping.
Is it for sure? No, I think Russ is playing.
I think he is too.
think
That's
he
what
might
I
be
was
playing.
Russ doesn't miss games. He's a gamer.
This injury is
What if that's a bad thing?
A fake injury made up by his agent, leaked to Rappaport or whatever was going on there because they know he's playing piss poor football and they want something out there to give him an excuse. Dude, he was running around getting first downs when I was watching that game. That was fake. I don't believe it.
What about the Elijah stuff? We don't think that's going to have any adverse effect on the Jets. One of their best young players just asking for a trade despite being 4-2.
Perfect. Aren't we excited about this?
Why
I
would
mean,
we
I feel
be
like that could go
excited?
either way, to be honest.
What if everybody hates Zach Wilson? And as soon as they get into negative script, this thing just... Well, I guess that's good for us because we have the Broncos. Sorry.
Thank you. They should hate Zach Wilson.
On the road against a tough defense, hard place to play. Come on. Zach Wilson's out there throwing for 120 yards. Like, this is not, he can't do that in professional football.
My fantasy teams hate Zach Wilson, so I know these receivers must hate. I have all the Garrett Wilson. He was a monster when Joe Flacco was taking snaps.
I'm worried, guys. This might not... The Jets are definitely 1,000% a fade candidate, but I don't know if this is the week. I don't know. We need to fade them against a team that can play offensive football, and I don't think Denver is that team. I think the Jets can out-run game them. If this is just defense-run game, I think the Jets are better at both things.
Not defense. They ain't better at defense. Run game? Maybe. They ain't better at defense.
We shall see.
Can I ask, what was that crazy Brett parlay that he had, which is like, of the standings? Wasn't it Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots?
Oh, he had exact order.
And that's the exact order right now.
The Patriots are in last?
Yeah, well, they're tied with the Dolphins, but yeah.
And did they play the Dolphins? The Dolphins?
They did.
Yes,
the Dolphins beat them.
The Dolphins beat them. That's why.
Rich.
Tiebreaker. Yo.
What do the Broncos have to do? Every week they shut down a good offense. I mean, sometimes bad offenses, but Justin Herbert got sunned, dude. 3.7 yards per attempt or something in that game. That was awful. And then they wrecked they're wrecking good offenses week
Just
after
get to
week. This team
14
is
points.
elite on D. The Jets are good. This is elite.
The Jets are elite.
No.
The Jets are elite.
No.
What happened? You just can't count the first 2 weeks for the Jets. You can't do it because they were out of sorts. No, trust me. They kept blitzing, and literally the defensive line went to the coordinator and was like, look, stop blitzing. Let us rush 4. And they also got guys back. They got Vinny Curry back off of the pup. They got, they started playing more Jermaine Johnson. So this is a different team than the first 2 weeks of the season. And I'm not in love with this. Obviously, I picked the Broncos because I think getting a little crazy out here with +1. I mean, the Jets are damn near favorites on the road, which If you would have told me that was going to happen in my lifetime, let alone in 2022, I would have told you that you are a crazy person. So the card. The collective has the Broncos -1. DP has the Cowboys -7. Mo has the Bears +8 in the Monday Night Hammer. Brett has the Commanders +4.5, and I have the Jags -3. DP, your final verdict on them Cowboys.
What about my final verdict? Get it out.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Now, I will say,
I just hope you have a cool veto graphic.
well, that's the thing. Now you just made work for me because now I have to find something off of Canva. I was able to cobble together a pizza graphic last week, but I actually think worked out pretty well. And all right, Mo, you're vetoing out the Cowboys, and who will be replacing them on the card?
Well, I want to put the Titans on, but
Do it. They're my number 2.
That's Donnie's number 2, so it actually works perfectly.
I'm a little bit torn though because the Bucks are a consensus pick now.
Yeah.
We might have to think this one over.
But
it ain't going to be Cowboys.
And you have the Bucks low? Yeah, you have the Bucks low. So
lower than the Titans for sure. I like the Titans more than the Bucks.
Oh, you have the Bucks bubbling your top 5. Wow, I thought you had them lower. Yeah, I just man, I'm afraid of my Colts selection is there's so much bias in it. I'm just terrified of continuing to get this team wrong. So I'm over it. I'm over the Colts. I've got no opinion.
I hear you there. You don't want to know what they cost me last week, but
something Pierce.
Yeah. Maybe we can discuss this.
Mo is removing the Cowboys, but
it's going to be Bucks or Titans. All right.
At Gridiron Gamble, you'll figure out the final card there. Follow these guys on Twitter at Mo Nuwwarah, NUWWARAH, and at Donnie_Peters. I'm at Rich T. Ryan. Best of luck in your betting ventures this weekend. We'll see you for the recap. Peace.